DUNU, you once held a special place in my heart thanks to that magnificent DK series, DK 3001 Pro, DK 2001. Incredible. And in this video, I'm looking at something a little bit different. This is the DUNU Kima Classic IEM. Let's get it. What's crackin' audio fans? It's David here from Prime Audio Reviews. So the DUNU Kima Classic, this is a single dynamic driver IEM. It's coming in at $109 and the box looks like this. I will show you something inside. Going to show you the case because some people like it. I think the color's a bit over the top. It's a bit garish, but there you go. And for some reason, you get a cleaning cloth, which is a bit weird because these shells have a lovely matte finish that doesn't get fingerprints or dirty easily. I don't really see the need for a cloth, but hey, free accessories, take as many as you want to give us. One other thing worth mentioning is that there are 9 pairs of ear tips in the box as well, and it's always great to see a nice variety and nice quantity of different ear tips in the case. That's good. So these are the shells, and I've got to say, if there's one thing that DUNU does consistently, it is excellent build quality, and these are no exception. The build is just fantastic. They've got this lovely finish. They feel quite premium. And overall, I think, getting a better quality than you normally get for something in the $100 range. Like, you could expect $200, $300, even up to $500 shells to look something like this. Really great build. Let's look at the cable, which is also really nice. It is kind of brown, but I don't mind that at all. It matches the color of the shells, but it's just a really good cable. It handles beautifully, and it's hardly surprising that the cable is good because DUNU manufactures their own now, and they do have slightly angled connectors on there, but that in conjunction with the ear hooks, which are fairly supple, didn't cause any problems for me. So yeah, good job on the cable there. But enough with all that, let's get into the important stuff, i.e. the sound. And in terms of sound signature, the Kima Classic is slightly V-shaped. Compared to the original Kima, the Classic now has more sub-bass presence and some extra lift in the highs. And the result is a clear and vibrant sound with good dynamics and slightly recessed mids. Let's throw up the graph here and have a look at that. Let's talk about the bass, and the bass is controlled and fast even with that added sub-bass presence. Despite that, this is still definitely not a bass head IEM, as the quantity of the lows is fairly modest. There's good texture and the bass extension is adequate, with the ability to produce some rumble, albeit a fairly light and tight kind of rumble, not a head-shaking sort of experience. And while it may not be the absolute pinnacle in terms of sheer impact, the overall bass experience is pretty satisfying. Moving on to the mid-range now, and the Kima Classic's mid-range possesses a subtle recessed quality, yet it compensates with a blend of clarity and density. Male vocals, while leaning slightly towards a more streamlined or leaner presentation, maintain a distinct presence, and in contrast, female vocals exude a lively tonality without verging into shrillness or shoutiness. And this mid-range offers a notable sense of spaciousness, owed pretty much to its clarity and its swift transient response from that DLC or diamond-like carbon dynamic driver. Now for the treble, and the treble has a fairly forward presence in the mix, which is made comfortably manageable by some strategically placed dips in the more potentially harsh or edgy regions. And this results in a treble that strikes a good balance between being lively and being listener friendly, also known as non-fatiguing. It offers a crisp and a well-defined high frequency performance without veering into sibilance and providing a non-fatiguing profile. Yeah, so due to those dips in the treble strategically placed, they do, although the treble is fairly forward and up front, it's not a harsh or troublesome treble at all. And moreover, the treble timbre is admirably natural, devoid of any sort of metallicness or sizzling undertones. Now, in terms of the soundstage has consistent, albeit average dimensions, with a decent sense of depth and some good layering. Detail retrieval is above average for something in this price range. It picks up those micro details pretty nicely. And on top of that, imaging is on point, providing fairly precise placement, and that offers clear positional cues in both games and music. Alright, let's do a quick comparison. We'll start with the Kiwi Ears Quartet. Now, I know this has a very different configuration. Single dynamic driver for the Kima Classic. The Quartet, however, has 4 drivers. It's got 2 dynamic drivers and 2 balanced armatures. So not an apples to apples comparison, maybe, some might say, but the price is exactly the same, $109. And I would rather compare IEMs around the same price rather than just solely going for other single dynamic driver IEMs. I don't know what people want. Let me know down in the comments below. Are you okay with this kind of comparison, or would you prefer just to see only single dynamic driver IEMs compared? Anyway, let's get on with it. So Kiwi Ears Quartet, $109. Don't forget, it's also got tuning switches, so you can change up the sound profile a little bit. The Quartet has a warmer tone, and that is a result of its pronounced mid-bass and full-bodied mid-range. So it's got less emphasis on the sub-bass than the Kima, but it's got a much fuller mid-bass, upper bass, and lower mid-range. Vocals and instruments take on a richer and a more lustrous quality compared to the Kima Classic. Both IEMs have a fairly similar treble tuning if you look at the graphs, but the Quartet's treble is offset by that fullness in the bass and the mids that I was talking about, which results in a slightly darker overall tone. And the Quartet comes out ahead in resolution, while the Kima Classic has the edge when it comes to clarity. And they're both good IEMs. I think the Quartet is a bit more versatile, like I mentioned, with those tuning switches, and it's a bit warmer and more easygoing. If you turn up the Kima Classic a bit louder, it can get a little bit, just leaning towards a little bit of edginess there. However, the Quartet is a very smooth IEM. Now, there have been a lot of IEMs at $109 recently. We had the 7Hz Legato, which is completely different. It's like a bass head IEM compared to this, which is bright and clear. And we had the SimGot EM6L, which frankly I don't think is on par with most of the others in that bracket. And then you've got the Moondrop Starfield 2, which I believe is around the same price as well, but I haven't actually opened the box yet. So let's summarize the DUNU Kima Classic. Look, I think these are pretty good. They're not amazing when it comes to sound, but I think they're sort of on par with the others in that price range. They don't really stand out in any way, except I guess you could say clarity, but nothing really exceptional. However, the build quality definitely is above average compared to most of its peers, and the cable as well is very nice. So overall, I think it's a decent IEM. If you're looking for that type of sound signature, yeah, this one would definitely be worth considering. And with that said, I think I'm going to wrap it up. So if you like the video, give it the old thumbs up ParFam audio file style. And if you're new here and you want to see more content like this in the future, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And until next time, I'll see you later.